Hello and welcome to your 1111 Divine Lover series. My name is Priestess Gorgêous and I'll be your oracle today. And it's an honor and a pleasure to welcome you into Vertex of Abundance. We are an online etheric temple and our expressed aim and purpose, our creed, is to shine a light, be a bright light. So the 1111 really kind of reaches out to those who find themselves in a divine love situation. So that means your heart is open and you're moving beyond the telepathic communication into the heart-to-heart communication. And that means you are a true sacred union. Now, to a lesser degree, we do enter these gates of true spiritual union through karmic relationships, soulmate relationships. Now, I have different ideas on what a twin flame is, or, you know, whatever. So I call them, let's just say divine partnerships, divine relationships. Okay. Now, again, this is if your heart is open to another person and you understand that you're deeply connected to somebody else. This, regardless of your gender, your sexuality. So you could be cisgendered, gender non-conforming, non-binary. You could be heterosexual, homosexual, don't care, don't matter. All right. Now, I tend to look at the masculine role itself as the energy that's going out. So if you're the chaser and not the runner, I tend to look at you as the masculine. That's a little bit differently. And it's not always the one with the male assigned gender. Okay, so it's a little bit different, and the 1111 is basically 11 cards by 11 cards. So I'm going to lay out the energy, which will be the guidance. I have here the Alana Fairchild Sacred Rebel. Okay, and then I will lay, as for the energy, that's called the forces that be. Very similar to the Yan. I'll pretty much bring out my keys to the library here, my keys to the universe, and I consider those to be the 22 major arcana. So let's just begin. I have a channel open. I'm trying to kind of go through the intro. It's not working out. So let me just jump into these messages. And if you're new, welcome. And if you're returning, so I'm going to leave the central card down. And yeah, let's kind of jump in here. And that'll also be the closing sermon. And then if you're new, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. It is an honor and a pleasure to serve you. Thank you for allowing me the pleasure and the privilege to do so. And if you want to reach out, because something I said here resonated deeply with you, then you can contact me at priestessgorgeous.org, or you can look at the links in the show notes. Okay, Vertex of Abundance .org is the web address to the temple. So in the center of it all, we have the magician. Typically when the magician's in the center, what that can kind of talk about is, actually, I'm going to turn the center card over because I read a sermon at the end. So I've changed that habit. So this means you can make any choice decision that you want, essentially, because you are learning to manifest. So when you begin to focus on an intention, or you realize that whatever's in your mind is what you create, whatever's alive in you, whatever your energy, wherever your attention goes is where your energy is going to flow. So when you come into that knowledge, you will begin to create that way. And I do feel that's true because the guidance here has come to life. All right. So this will be what I'll be reading at the end, but already I'm seeing duality. So you have the black, the white, that's your conscious, your subconscious. There's that monkey there. So there's a primitive aspect to it. There's also, you know, generation. So maybe you are your ancestors. You come through the gate and done what your ancestors maybe couldn't do. That's coming through. I don't necessarily consider ancestors apes. I don't necessarily agree with the concept that we're descendant from apes. That's my personal belief. And if you want to argue with me, come to Vertex of Abundance Mystery School. So that's definitely true here. Come to life, number 43, that's a 7 that talks about spiritual power. The 4 is the stability, foundation, autonomy, franchise, control of the ability to the 3 of embodying the full spectrum. So I do feel like this is a person who has mastered their ability to manifest. Okay, so this is a love reading. The change in context there would be simply that both of the parties here in this connection are able to come together and make everything, and that literally whatever you focus on is what's going to grow. So to start, you see there's a little bit of color there and the rest is black and white. So focus on what you want and the rest will kind of come. She's painting herself into life. She's creating life for herself. This is the first spark of life. It's related to all the aces. So not just the Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords, but also the Ace of Wands. That's the first life. That's the insemination. That's the inception. Okay. So now let me read you the cards. This is going to be Virgo. So Virgo's the feminine month. So I'll read from the feminine side. So I'll speak to you directly feminine. Next month masculine, I'll speak to you. Now, again, remember what I say, your role has to deal with the energy you bring into the space. So if you are the energy that drives things and it's not the one that receives and transforms things, you are the masculine energy. That typically tends to be the protector, typically tends to be the one who goes out, seizes, and conquers. Not always, and it's not always the one with the male gender, right? And I'm a two-spirit priestess, so I bring in the whole LGBTQ and all that fun stuff. But literally, honey, you don't need to have a uterus to be the feminine role, okay? And that you're usually the feminine role if you are the one who is the nurturer typically, but also you tend to be the one who doesn't pursue the relationship so much. You're the one who's being sought after, okay? So a lot of what we would call in the third dimension, men are the ones who are the runners right now. But really the runner should be the female, okay? That's how the connection in my heart, how it resonates. And that heart resonance is coming from on high. So I'm going to read the feminine side. Feminine, we have here the death card going up against what you want wants you. So we have the death card here in the... Oh gosh, so this is the position, the energy that you come into the month with. So last month, there's something about a disharmony in the connection came up for transformation. And I do feel like this is an opportunity of creation. However, you're gonna need to get out of the isolation, I feel. So that's a direct message to the feminine. There is some disharmony, disunity here, however. And this is the energy you walk into this month with. So I feel like last month, maybe a third party was discovered. And it helped you take an assessment, an inventory on really the connection, what the connection is and where the connection might be. Now, not everyone was going to discover a third party last month. So if you had already known about said party, then something about this has come to an end. So ultimately, just the way the energy works, all of this is coming to an end. However, some of you are moving into the phase of discovery, and some of you are moving into the phase of, harmonizing that energy that was there previously. And I'm perceiving, these are all major arcana, this is kind of how I read, especially for this big energy here. But, the way I'm detecting the Three of Swords here, I'll just say it point blank. And the Scythe is here in the Death card, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling like the universe actually came in and took care of something for you, and the harshness, the objective of the harshness from the universe was to give you a bit of clarity. Now, there's a spectrum of that. Some of you needed a rude awakening, a harsh kind of slap across the face, just to get things moving. Conflict breeds change. Adversity is the catalyst for success. So harmony, you don't always know where you are with another person, okay? And when harmony is broken, however, temporarily, again, time is an illusion and you're a human, so you're perceiving, you have an understanding of the universe, not an overstanding. So I'm just detecting that conflict was actually to breed positive change. And actually that positive change was going to be embodied by the person who is being sought after, the runner, the feminine archetype. And I said archetype, not gender. Okay. So, you know, I just actually feel like the part of that was somebody standing up in themselves. They're standing up in their virtues. They're standing up in their values, and they want to feel secure in themselves. And they're not actually going to ask a lot of permission for that. That does seem sudden, actually. You know, because what needs to be reconciled, I'll get back to the masculine energy, is, you know, this is a rude awakening. This is a harsh knock on the door because the completion is here. A cycle has come to end, and you need to ask yourself what your intention is and what you need to manifest. That's regardless of your role here in the relationship, in the connection. And I do have that it evolves into a twin flame. Okay. On the feminine side, in the position of what you're walking to the month with, the overall energy, there's the death, and then you step into what the conflict might look like for you, feminine. That actually has to be the Empress. And then that continues with what the objective might even be, you know, what you're focusing on. There's some kind of unraveling, dissolution, breakdown, upheaval, even a rude awakening. And then there's also in this sacrifice that you need to make, that's the Justice card, you know, the balancing of the scales. And then you have in leaving the energy going into next month, the evolving situation is the High Priestess on the masculine side. And again, that's the chaser, not the runner. And that doesn't always have to deal with your gender, but it's the archetype itself, masculine, energy going out, going after, seeking, you know, not being sought, but going on the seeking aspect. That masculine energy says here that you're entering the month in to most of September, end of August. That's the Lovers in reverse. Okay, and that's the position of the overall situation, really what you start out with. And then it follows up with the obstacle, the challenge, you know. It's the Strength card in reverse that follows through with the focus. The objective is the World card upright, but in the sacrifice to make, there's a lack of decision here. You have this Judgment in reverse. So somebody either doesn't feel expansive, doesn't feel renewed, or is getting a second choice, or can't make up their mind. And the guidance on that is dream a beautiful dream. So let me wrap up here with this Sacred Fool being the guidance for the masculine. That's the Temperance card. So the Temperance card does represent the twin flame connection itself versus the soulmate connection being what you start out with. So I feel karma gets expedited. And the position down here, again, I'll just remind you, is the evolving situation. This is the overall situation. So starts out with, on the masculine side, just a message to you, masculine. It starts out with disunity in a soulmate connection or evolution of a soulmate connection, and it doesn't look good. So I would say dissolution of a soulmate connection, but it starts to evolve into a twin flame. Okay, so for the feminine, it looks like something is transforming because they step into the connection with the soul. And the guidance there is be the hunter, not the hunted. But it's also an owl, and this is Artemis Diana. That is the kind of card that we have here with the High Priestess. She even has the hunter's bow, okay, in her lap, okay. So I'm really feeling like somebody has sought their independence. They've stepped into their power. And that's beautiful, but she is blowing that house down. She's going to tell, you know, feminine is going to tell the masculine, hey, honey, just so you know, I am everything. I'm not just that child you thought I was. I'm everything. And you will honor that or you will go away. So that's what I'm hearing there. And that's why the Tower card is out. That's the rude awakening. Now, she might think that, or the feminine might think that it's just being quite clear. However, I think differently. I'm picking up a different energy. Because she's looking right at that. Come on. She's like, let me just let you know something. So she's like, I've waited enough. Let me bring this into form. Wow. And that's the challenge. The challenge is that she is emerging. And the masculine here is needing to rest and recover. It says restore and replenish. That's the guidance. This is the heart and soul, courage, strength. It's either been directed inside or there's a lack thereof, and it's not evolving here. Literally, the Lovers evolves into that, and it's still in reverse. So there's an evolution here, but again, it's a phase of consciousness. And it's 11. So I think they're looking at their sovereignty right now. They're finding their God sovereign self. And they're healing. I wanted to say that they lack courage. It just, that confirmation didn't come through. Yeah, they're healing. There's cycles that are completing, and this will eventually happen. The very next card is the World card. So it does happen. It does happen where they kind of complete that healing and they go on that journey. Excuse me, I should have warned you before moving the camera. They do go into that healing. They do kind of complete that out, and that's why it's saying here. So that felt a little selfish, and I'd rather have this twin flame card be in the middle, to be honest. It feels like she, or the feminine, blows the connection up. Doesn't destroy it, but she blows it up. I just was feeling coming into the reading that this energy was a little isolated. It felt a little solitary. So, you know, let me do a little bit of course correction here. I'll clarify. It just felt like masculine energy is healing here. And this dream a beautiful dream guidance here and the sacrifice to be made is like second chance. And out of alignment, softly, the tender touch. This is Kuan Yin. So in the feminine sacrifice, Kuan Yin is the goddess. She can endure any pain. Her love is so pure. Her heart is so boundless. It's infinite, immeasurable compassion. She literally has 1,000 hands, each with an eye in them. So she has 1,002 eyes. Do you understand? It is everything. That's that 1,000-petaled lotus on her head as well. So that sacrifice to be made it's unfair. And I do sense that all that happened was that she energetically stood in her power. That's all. There's no conversation here. Literally, it's like the universe says the ball's in your court. That's what happens. It's just like, oh, let me put the balance over here. Oh, let me put the balance over here. So, give me just a second. Okay, so I was clarifying this judgment card. Yeah, I did detect that. So the one of them, and this is the one who is not completely open to the connection at the moment. One of them who actually wants the connection. The one who really wants the connection, I apologize. The one who's really into the connection is feeling like they've been rejected. Is feeling like they've been rebuked and turned down. But for some reason, there's the need for a second chance. So it actually so much turns out that they're going to find some new discovery. It's as if the universe creates it for them because their belief changes. So I think something about them actually moves into wanting the connection, and it shifts. Because it did feel very karmic here with this Death card and the Lovers card coming out in the position of what you open up the month with. That's like the overall situation. It's literally saying disharmony is being cut out like a bad cancer. It's being surgically removed. I have to put it that way. I'm a survivor. I apologize if I trigger you. However, what it brings with it is a powerful goddess. Because now the person who is the runner is secure in themselves. They know what they want. They know what's alive in them. They know where their independence lies, and they know that they can manifest what they deserve. So what that does is it energetically sends a rude awakening. It's like an energetic counterattack. It's when you cut a cord, what happens? That person comes around, checking up on you, seeing if you're still gullible, seeing if you're still able to get into some type of cycle that becomes the devil energy because you can't let yourself out of it. I don't know what happened when you lost your higher faculties, but seems to be like she's calling into it. And that's why that Tower card is there in the place of the objective. And mirroring that on their side, it's like, boom, the whole thing completes. Then it says, for him, trust yourself. Okay, that's a 4. All of a sudden, stability comes. The whole thing completes. I wonder why. I wonder why. And see, on this twin flame card, you have both of you in a union. You have the wish card for you, honey, watching the reading. And then, so, wow. Wow, 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 and wow, wow, and wow. The connection is literally, it feels like the universe has been hacking away at all the obstacles to this connection. And literally, wow, it does. It feels like the universe, wow. It feels like the universe is hacking away at all the obstacles to this connection. And it includes the cords. It includes the cords. Now, a lot of people get alarmed, become alarmed when I say cutting cords. Cutting cords is an removing or ascending away of negative energies. It's essentially asking the energy to move to its highest vibrational outcome. If somebody is deeply bonded to you in a spiritual contract that was created in the heavens, therefore a divine partnership, it's not necessarily going to go away by cutting cords. It does, however, remove a lot of the negativity, but whatever karma needs to be worked out will still be worked out. Okay, so that divine is a soul contract as well. It brings it into another level. Okay, but also you have to get to understand, cutting cords, it does energy around that, and it's negative in nature, or you know, it's like dead flowers. That's a cheese snarl, honey. Like it basically is, if you have a bunch of dead flowers on your altar, it's taking the ashe, right? That's the cutting of the cords. Get that dead flower out, prune those leaves, do all that work. You know, that's what I feel. And I feel like the pruning's been happening with a person who isn't as receptive to the relationship, okay, to the connection. And the person who is all about it, they had healing and they actually had more options. So that's true. So if it opens up with the feminine archetype transforming, then that, and it is true, because it literally says what you want wants you, and the masculine archetype was unable to collaborate. They really weren't, and I do feel that they weren't. What the feminine wanted, the masculine wouldn't get, or what the yeah, I do, because literally then she finally lets it go. And focusing on the purity of that concept and idea of union actually brought it closer. She's not yet aware of that. Okay. And on the masculine side, what that did was they had to deal with their healing. And so that's where all the courage went. The courage went to facing the demons. And it's still happening. And the guidance here is restore and replenish. And the feminine needs to bring it into form. So again, focus on what it is you want to manifest. That's all you do. Weave the web of the energetic and the auric field around you in your environment of having the quality of what you want. Hold in your heart the emotion of that in which you wish. And that's why this finger of God, hand of God comes out. And literally the ancestors turn around and look over with blessings after the feminine heals. And I feel like for the feminine, it was the healing of the mind. That's why we have this here in the middle, because it's talking about they're both mental, they're not heart, and they finally get to the heart at the end. So they left the mind, they left that telepathic communication, they moved into that heart-to-heart communication. So it's coming through. It is just coming in layers, the messages. And so, you know, if they're now focusing on completing this thing, the masculine needs to trust themselves. It literally is the guidance. Trust yourself. You have the keys to the universe. And the feminine's guidance is you have a legacy of light. Know who you are. Know where you've come from. You are powerful. You literally have the power of heavens reigning through you. You're a powerful healer. You're a powerful goddess. Your words speak thunder into the sky. Manifest, honey. Don't apologize and don't ask permission. So, yeah, queen. Yeah. Absolutely. Please. Thank you. So then it goes to the masculine. Well, if I'm going to be manifesting, you need to dream a beautiful dream. What are we going to create together? Make up your mind. And the response that she gets back is, well, we're out of alignment. I still need some tender loving care. So be as powerful as you need, honey, but you're not going to run over me. I'll just heal alone, and we'll stay solo right now, because I'm not in alignment. So one thing I do want to say is their ability to finally face their demons, and or it's not going to be the same for 100% of that. It's going to be some aspect of the spectrum. At least they finally got out of being 50-50 on the fence. They're moving more towards the affirmative side. You got to kind of understand that. Something alive in you has been activated. You may have figured out who you are while you're here in this world and what you want to do with your life. Or maybe your loins just got activated and it's finally giving you energy to look at other things because you feel passionate again. Okay, maybe you got some kind of zest. You know, I'm hearing Stella got her groove back. So honey, you got your groove back. And that's good. But again, they don't know exactly what they want because they're still healing. And I know it hurts, feminine, but here's the situation here. Okay. This is everything judgment has spoken. The universe has come and communicated with you that this is just taking a little bit of extra time. And softly, softly, the tender touch is really saying that you need to transmute the beauty and the grace of the experience because your mess becomes your message. And you need to go through this. Whatever healing is needed, you will do that by holding the space for the connection. Now, of course, be in the third dimension. If someone can't go towards their passions and communicate with you at least the issue and the obstacle to said passions or what said passions are, then turn away from them and turn toward your future. Absolutely. I'm not saying hold on to someone who won't love you back. However, hold in your heart, hold in your mind the vibration of the connection. And if they taught you what feeling in love feels like, then harmonize, heal any darkness or sickness around that intention. And then hold that intention in your heart as you walk through the world. Okay? Because I feel, actually, when you do that, when you let him go, that's when he heals and he suddenly shows back up. Because you're like, I'll take you back, but you're not going to come back a hot mess. And if you come back a hot mess, at least be able to label your mess, homie. At least be able to say, I'm a little messy right now. I'm cleaning myself up. Okay. I'll mess with you. Let's figure this out. Right? Be the hunter, not the hunted. Know what web you're weaving. Don't be deceived. Okay? You can't co-sign someone's BS. You need to say, hey, honey, you need to own your stuff or I can't be in this union because it's codependent. Okay? You have your side of the road, I have my side of the road. I will cross the street all the time to help you out, but you need to know when to ask. And it's not about being isolated. It's because whatever's going on one side is going on the other side. That's what a real connection looks like. But you need to believe that it's even possible. So if you don't ask the universe, if you don't say, I'm going to look and see what it is to really see myself reflected back by another. If you don't say, I'm open to divine connection to the universe, they're not going to manifest it for you. So that's fascinating. Let me see what this Be the Hunter, Not the Hunted is all about. And then I will read the closing sermon. Wow, 2 5s. So this is the everything. We have 2 5s and 2 10s. So boom, dada. So that's Mercury and Jupiter. That's manifestation. So the universe says, let's time to manifest this. Let me remove the foundations finally that were the obstacle. Let me remove whatever blockage, whatever ice wall, whatever firewall has been put there. Let me just shatter that down to the ground. And so for the person watching this reading, you will experience that this is a final ending and the universe is actually blessing you with everything. Now, it is still going to be problematic, traumatic, and scary to the other party. Okay? However, both of you are finally done being left out, done being left out of the code, done being separated from each other. It's not working out anymore. You don't want it. That is very clear. 5 of Pentacles in reverse means you're done feeling left out, period, point blank. And it is period, point blank. Literally, the period, point blank card is here. That's the 10 of Swords. Period, point blank. Final whatever. Whatever it is, it's final. So what it is the 10 of Pentacles. And the universal energy is what it is. That's everything. A legacy together. Something to tell your great-grandchildren. Child. So what you doing, universe? Why don't you tell us, huh? Ooh. The heart. Taking you to the heart. Queen of Cups in reverse is the heart chakra. Oh, child, this is everything. This sounds so good to me. It's a little hard to see this healing alone. I like when people can either say what their healing is and say that they want to do it alone or to be there to help them. I mean, I'm a nurturing kind of person if I have this deep of a connection to you. So that can be difficult. However, I'm just seeing like the feminine is like very standing in their power, very putting it into it. They're willing to hack off a limb if that continues their personal growth. Now, that's just a dramatic example, honey. Don't go butchering yourself. But don't let yourself be walked all over. And that is definitely why she's turned her back, because her back is to the connection. And funnily enough, it's in response to the disharmony here. I feel like there was just a third person who was a little bit too much of a mainstay. And yeah, that does make sense. That does make absolute sense to me. Now, in the beginning, I am feeling called to tell you, feminine, don't typically give don't guidance where I start my guidance with don't, but be aware of just the fact that when they get caught or when they feel caught or when they feel cornered, that is going to be whatever their initial response is going to be disproportionate to how they really should act. So you might need to give them a second or third chance. Now, I don't mean like let them come back and then 8 months later come back again and then 8 months later come back again. No, they're going to try something and you need to kind of take it with a grain of salt, get to the second time that you meet. So have as much of the conversation as you can, and then, you know, just understand that it's going to be a little underwhelming for you. And then as they come back around, they're going to be a lot more evened out, leveled out, because they've got some of that energy out, okay? Now, some of them is going to be because they feel caught, so they curl up in the fetal position. Some of them is going to be because they're disoriented, they're in shock, they're processing in their heart center all of a sudden versus processing from their ego base. And so, you know, it's just going to be, I'm really strongly detecting that for you, feminine. So just be mindful that the masculine ain't going to act right. It's going to be a little underwhelming. You might want to take him to town. And you have seemed like an icy person or an inaccessible person until now. So they may be under the impression that you left them. It might seem preposterous to you. I get it. I do. However, for some reason, they don't see you as accessible. Okay? Whatever it is, their reason is their reason, honey. It ain't gonna make sense to you always, and that's just one of those. So, let me read you down here. Come to life. You are the most sacred of all artworks. You are bringing yourself to life now, and this is how it must be. Of course, something being essential does not mean it will always be easy. You must support yourself and have courage during this process. Your monkey mind is not to run the show. It might have a lot to say, and at times it seems very convincing, but, it is not the one in charge. Your mind can inspire you with ideas. However, it is the real you that speaks through your rebellious sacred heart and is living your life, not the monkey mind. The mind is not much more than a swirling cacophony of habitual reflections and reactions. Beneath habitual thoughts, there is a deep, sensual, creative, and energetic awakening happening to you. It is so far beyond what the mind is now capable of controlling. Others might not like it because it shakes things up. Coming to life tends to do that, however. It is happening now, and the only real choice you have is how you deal with it. Coming to life means feeling. It might bring joy, but it could equally bring sadness, rage, or fear. It could bring all of these and more. Feelings will come and go quite swiftly when allowed to flow. You might need to paint, you might need to write, you might need to enact some type of ritual, you can sing or dance. Your feelings to help the energy flow. Do not hold back. Create space for yourself to do it. In this process, you are uncovering the artistry of the universal creator. You are honoring the sacredness of life by exploring it without restraint, and that includes the flow of your feelings. You do not have to do anything with them other than express. You may want to analyze or you may not. It does not matter. What matters is that you are getting in touch with feeling. Remember I was saying getting out of the mind and into the authentic heart center, getting out of the ego center? Okay. So the journey underneath the mind and into a sensual, emotional place is the connection with your feelings, your emotions, and your body. This is all the sacred purpose. It is a part of your path. You are one of the sacred but powerful minority that have chosen to come into a body and live consciously with it. That may seem like it applies to everybody, but when you experience it for yourself, you will realize that this is actually rather rare. There are plenty of bodies without a spirit really residing in them, or that they have access to, okay? To care for, love, or honor them as a sacred animal. These aspects flow from the same place and are often couched within your feelings in the form of emotions as well as physical sensations. Fortunately, the minority is powerful enough that it can keep human culture in balance. That's why we need twin flames, but only just, meaning we're by a small margin we can do that feat. But that's why us light workers need to continue to love on those people until they can activate themselves, okay? So I'll read that again. Fortunately, this minority is powerful enough that it can keep human culture in balance, but only just. We need every single one of us that is capable to be aware of that task and move beyond the mind and into the heart and the body. This is especially so you have drawn this oracle. Okay, you may feel drawn to read the sacred healing ritual. Okay, to come into your sensuality, you will need to anchor your experiences. You may be blessed with relationships that are conscious enough to be interesting in and upon your journey as a constructive rather than controlling or undermining lesson. If you so talk, converse, and share. If not, then you will need to be more resourceful in how you support yourself through your awakening process, at least until you attract some more conscious connections into your life. It is likely that you need these connections, or that these connections are already on their way. Just because you are working with energies of the Oracle deck, this is especially so if you have been drawing other cards, okay, versus consciousness connections or collaborative dreaming. There hasn't been a lot of collaborative coming through, but consciousness connections has been coming through all the time. So you can support your own process by scheduling time for yourself and keeping to it like you would on your most important date with destiny. That's true. Every 2 weeks I go get my eyebrows waxed and a pedicure, and I don't take on more work until I get that appointment out of the way. Anything that gets in the way of the appointment, I go on a freeze until I pamper myself, and is necessary. And I find the more I pamper myself, the easier it is for me to give and give and give and give and give to others. But if I've gone more than about 2 weeks without a little me time, I'm just a bat out of hell. I'm hideous. So that's so true. And I keep that date. Like I really do. And it's always the day before the new moon and the day before the full moon. And it's like clockwork. There's something alive in me that means, oh, wait. I need a little me time. And I used to do that. I used to do it every Friday at matinee time, 12:15. I'd go to the movies and I'd go out to eat by myself. So you need something like that. You really do, especially if you're feeling alone, but you feel connected to another person. I just want to say that. It is going to be very helpful to you. Okay, so you can support your own process of healing by scheduling time for yourself and keeping to it like it's the most important date with destiny. So get to writing in your journey, do your dances, paint your pictures, create your creations. Be kind to your body, be kind to yourself, listen to it, let it be alive, let yourself be alive. Even in times of pain, know that there will always be ecstasy and bliss as the process of healing and awakening continues. The message of this oracle is be alive, dear one. Do not imagine you can go back to sleep. You are already to awake for that now. There is no falling back into old ways. If you do so, it will be short-lived and you will not feel the same. It won't even feel the same. If you go backwards, it's going to seem forward to you. You may grieve this. You should grieve this. You will certainly and eventually celebrate it, so go ahead and let the emotions flow. You have crossed the threshold from the old way of being in an old life, and try as you might, you cannot return. It is better, beloved, to simply let it go. Grieve if you need be. Celebrate if you need be. Or do both and move into this moment. Embodiment. There is another adventure awaiting you now, and that is that you need a deeper connection to your own instincts, to your body, your feelings, and your intuitions, so that you can receive this new calling. You can trust in it too. Embrace it, and it will embrace you. So this is the Sacred Rebel Guidebook and Sacred Heart Rebel Oracle by, Sacred Rebel Oracle by Alana Fairchild. I don't know where the heart came from. But that is true, like moving into your feelings and moving into all that jazz. That is like and that's so funny because it ends with the High Priestess on the feminine side. So you do evolve. He evolves understanding the connection, and the feminine evolves understanding their connection with themselves. And that was what was missing before. They were always trying to participate in the connection with the other half, or with the other partner, with the other one in the connection, and not other half. I don't believe in that other half story. It just bothers me. And that was when they were moving out of alignment with themselves, and they're still out of alignment in their thoughts. They still are out of alignment in their thoughts. Now let me read the healing the healing journey here, and we will close it. It's much shorter than the sermon. So this is 43. Come to life. Okay. Healing process. Lie quietly and play some beautiful music that you love. Allow it to move through your body as though the sound is pure energy and you are as light as air. Let the sound feel good. Let your cells receive the sound energy. Feel the energy rattle about in your body, as if the sound waves are making your cells vibrate. They are. Let there be life. Get up and move if you wish. If you have emotion arising, be with it. Do not hold on to it. Let it rise and fall as it will. Be in this process as long as it feels right to you. Feeling you have had enough indicates that you have completed the healing process for this oracle. The oracle name is Come to Life. I'll show it to you again. Okay. And that is with the Magician. You may wish to repeat this exercise daily for several weeks. If so, choose music that feels right for you each time. You can then see the difference this healing process has on your well-being, your energy levels, and the ease in which you access your intuition and feelings. Also note the clarity in which you perceive. That is another word for discernment. You might be surprised at what little music therapy consciously received can do for you. It has been a tremendous honor and pleasure to serve you today. Before you go, if you can go ahead and smash that like button, I would really appreciate it. Again, my name is Priestess Gorgêous. If anything I said resonated highly or deeply with you for a reading, please check the show notes. It's office.vertexofabundance.org. If you want a reading with me directly, it's priestessgorgeous.org. Okay? Peace and blessings be upon you, to you and your beloved. Thank you for the work that you do in this lifetime. Thank you for the medicine that you bring and the journey that you walk. I honor you, I praise you, I salute you, I celebrate you. Until we meet again, until we read again. Namaste, Dandavat, and Ashe. Bye, lovers. Take good care of yourself.